Oh, my fault, people. Let me fix my headset. Anyway, this is Kish Yardy Gaming Nation in the building, or Kish Yardy Views and Vlogs. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the video, to the channel for more content like this. And this content is to actually help the ladies out, right? Now, for the 3 decades of my loving, I've always heard black women say if you withhold from sex, it'll filter out to filter out the bad men and keep the good guys with you, or help you find the right type of guy, right? And that's from the courtship perspective. Then I've heard guys say who are from the sexual marketplace ecosystem say to have sex to have to find the right type of chick, right type of dude, right? Withdrawing sex is not gonna filter out the bad type of guy, or just because you have sex on the first day, don't mean you're gonna find the right type of guy, or you won't find the right type of guy. And truth be told, it really doesn't matter whether you have sex with the guy on the first date or you make him wait 90 days. It doesn't matter, right? Because really and truly, the dating market is how we say it in the gamers world, it's a RNG, random generated number, random generated role, right? It's like when you play in an RPG game, which most of you ladies are gamers nowadays, and say you're playing a game like the Division of Destiny or RPG game, and you open up a chest. There's a chance you might find a gold item. There's a chance you might find an exotic. There's a chance you might find a common everyday item. That's literally how the dating market is today, in this present state, right? Back when the ecosystem was more of a courtship marketplace, it was more predictable because the courtship marketplace, you two had to court each other, right? And your parents was involved, his parents was involved, his family was involved, your family was involved. Understand? So that's how that went. Um, but now, you know, it's more modern, it's more chaotic, it's more chaos. So because it's more chaotic and chaos, it's going to be random. Now, this is the issue why women, you're not able to find the right type of guy. All right. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the video. And stay tuned, right? Is because of your performance. You're not willing to contribute, or you're not willing to earn the guy that you want. You're not willing to, you expect the guy to protect and provide for you, but you as a woman, you will not contribute your value. See, I'm a provider. You're the contributor, right? I provide the structure. You contribute to the structure I provide. All right. That's how it's always been since the beginning of time. When you take it back to the hunter gatherer stages, the women had to compete to keep the men in the village. All right. And today I'm going to speak about that. Speak about that in great length. All right. Give me a second. I gotta get the presentation, so stick with me. Remember to like, share, subscribe to the video. Hey yo, I gotta make this speech right here. It seems like YouTube is either shadow banning me, or it's not getting my videos out to the population or to the algorithm. And then for those of you guys who do view my channel or do view my content, you only view like 5 minutes, 60 seconds. I remember I dropped a video talking about the gamma males because somebody in the comment section requested it of me. I dropped that video, only got 2 views from it, and I guess the person only watched like 5 seconds. So hey, if you're gonna request content from me, donate to my channel. If I'm gonna take time to do something that you want me specifically done for you, pause, right? Third, watch the entire content of the video. I know I'm not the most charismatic guy. I'm not performing out here. I know I'm not cussing and wailing. I know I don't have big booty holes on my channel. Maybe that's what I gotta do. Maybe I have to have a big titty, big booty chick right beside me while I'm doing these videos. Talk about, yo, can I please touch your titty? Or please, can I touch your ass? Or grab your ass? Please, can I touch it? Something like that. Maybe I should do that. Because it seemed like, especially with black culture, our culture, would it be Caribbean black culture, black American culture, I gotta be a shock and awe nigga to get y'all attention. And then when I hear men and women, black men and black women say, yo, we need better dating advice or better solutions, and then somebody comes give you a solution, you know, I'm saying, yeah, I don't want to hear it. You know. But it's with Jamaican black people, I'm all kind of Batiman or all kind of lame or nerd or whatsoever. But as black Americans, it's all kind of lames and nerds and whatever. So please take the time out to watch the full length of the video to get the value of the video, because there's a lot of game that I drop based upon my life experiences and what I've learned from the world. All right. So let me get this out here. And the thing with YouTube, throughout, I guess, not pushing my content out there, it's happening across all of my channels, because I have 3 channels, including this one, right? And I remember I accidentally posted a short with no title in it, and it got about 600 views. It didn't have any title in it. And then I posted another video with a title geared towards what I'm talking about, and it got 0 views. And then I'll post a short, and then YouTube will push that video out, and I'll get like 1,700 views on it. Then I'll post a couple shorts along the same line of that topic to follow up on, because it's okay, the algorithm is looking for this type of video or this type of shorts, and I push those type of shorts, and YouTube will not push that out to the audience. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube. But let me do this here. I think it's probably this one. Right, so women, you always have to compete or contribute to a man. That's bottom line. You always have to do that. All right, and I think I'm going to make a video speaking to that, talking about contributor versus provider. Let's see. All right, so hold on, let me see this. I think I could show this presentation here. All right. Hold on, let me see. Bear with me. Oh, so I didn't download that yet. Oh, yeah, I did. It's over there. Give me a second. I'm about to find it. And I'm probably gonna be balanced, because my goal is not to fix anything. What it is to balance the dating market, and it's to balance everything else in life when it comes to black people. But what I really want to see is the good black women and good black men separate themselves from the chaos, right? Across human history, male effort and provision were never performed for women in isolation, nor were they signs of male weakness, right? Male effort and provisioning were never performed for women in isolation, nor were they signs of male weakness. They were functional behaviors tied to reproduction, survival, and social order. What has been lost, particularly after the boomer generation, is the reciprocal requirement placed on women to follow male authority in exchange for protection, provision, and commitment. So, women, it's not about having sex with the guy on the first date or waiting 90 days to have sex? Within that 90 days, say you were to do that, right? What value are you reciprocating to that guy? In other words, on the first day, I make the provision. I take us out on a date. I dress fly. I tell you to dress fly. First of all, I give you instructions. Meet me here at this time. Be ready at this time when I come pick you up. So we could go out here and have a bite to eat and conversate and communicate to each other about what I want to do and if you're the right fit for me. Or if I'm the right fit for you to follow. Or can you fit into, if this is the right place for you to fit in, right? Right? And after we, right, what is going to make me date? What are you going to contribute to me like I provided for you on the first date that's going to make me want to go on a date with you a second time or invest my provision for you on a second time? So we both got to invest into each other. I provide for you, you contribute to me. I provide my masculine energy, you contribute your feminine energy. So, all right. Male self-improvement historically had multiple purposes. Men competed with other men for status, resources, leadership, survival. Access to women was one outcome, not the sole motivator. Female selection was rooted in protection. In hunter-gatherer societies, women selected men who could protect them physically, secure food resources, defend the territory and offspring. This was biological and survival-based filter, not romantic idealism. What is forgotten? Women also had to qualify, right? Women were not passive recipients of male provision, which is what we have today. This is why a lot of you women, whether you have sex on the first day or you make a nigga wait 90 days, you can't find the right guy. Because if say you find the right guy, right, and you have sex with him on the first day, chase me. Because I'm experienced. I know if you're a gold digger or if you're wasting my time based upon how you respond to me. So if you respond to me like a gold digger, I'm not gonna fuck with you, even though you gave me box the first day. Right? And a lot of women out here in the market, a lot of y'all good women, but y'all tend to use a lot of 304 game or knowledge, or you use a lot of stuff that players taught you or pimps taught you on how to mac on or take resources from squares. What I'm trying to do is teach y'all the proper way. You feel me? Right? What is forgotten? To retain a man, a woman had to be cooperative, follow his authority, fulfill her social and feminine role, which is what a lot of feminists teach y'all not to do, which is why you can't find good men. Feminists teach you to do the opposite of what kept men in the village. Right? So remember, there is no village or nation without the king's decree or the king's instructions, right? Malcolm X said, a nation can raise no higher than its women, which is incomplete. That's true. That's true in one space, or half true, right? And I'm going to complete the truth. The half truth about it is that, yes, the nation or the children and the mother has to nourish and nurture the nation to grow. But the mother, right, she's operating based on the king's decree, the king's structure, the king's guidance, the king's wisdom. He's the school principal. The school is the building that he built with his hands. She's the teacher. The nation is the class. And she got to teach those children based off his curriculum, his structure, his decree, his instructions. So the nation might not raise no higher than the woman, but the woman doesn't raise any higher nor supersedes the king's decree or the king's instructions or guidance or leadership. So this is what a lot of you women are missing. Y'all missing that point. Y'all missing that point of view. You're missing this key, which a lot of boomer generation of men failed in that. They failed to teach that to the younger women. Authority preceded provision. Historically, male authority came before benefits. Provision followed obedience, loyalty, and alignment. Women gained access to a man's labor by submitting to his leadership, not by default. Not by default. Means you were not entitled. Right? Women gain access to a man's labor by submitting to his leadership, not by default or entitlement. The boomer era break. The boomer generation disrupted this transmission. Men were taught to provide without authority. Women were taught to receive without obedience. The result, effort divorced from leadership. Or the result, let me spit out my gun. Sorry. Spit out my gun. The result, effort divorced from leadership. Historical patterns, hunter-gatherers to empires, right? So men hunted, fought, protected the group. Women selected men based on survival capability. Competed with other women for retention, not just access. Women who did not cooperate, respect authority, risked being abandoned or unsupported. Key point, a man stayed where his authority was recognized. All right? So, to the passport bros, this is why they shame you, right? They shame you to keep, this is Black American men who are passport bros, right? They keep shaming you to stay in the community because they want access to your male labor. And they want you to keep investing your male labor in a culture or community that doesn't respect you, to keep siphoning and leeching off of your resources. That's what that is. They want you to make you male servants or submissive males to women. And women are not really the leadership of Black culture because they bow down to a patriarchy, a white male patriarchy. They don't bow down to Black patriarchy. So, sit with that. So I want to put this up here. Was it a woman's job to keep a man? Now, I'm not telling women to go keep a man that you don't like or you're not attracted to. I'm not telling you to keep a man that's bullshit either. Don't keep a bullshit nigga. All right. Which a lot of Black women tend to do. You'll see 10 dudes on the dating market. 8 out of the 10 dudes are about their business, structured, honest, working, decent, got structure. Either they have structure and you know they got structure and you can't compete to earn his structure. So you could say he's lame or he was boring, or it was a guy you wasn't attracted to. Because most Black men who are the average every day, Black women don't find them attractive. Because your attraction has been trained to like chaotic dudes. Right? So women's attraction is biological and it's natural, but it can be programmed, trained, and manipulated. So because most average brothers are not gangbanging or thugging, they're not attracted to most Black women. I don't care what Black woman you want to talk to me about. I don't care if it's the Black woman in corporate America. I don't care if it's the Black woman that's in the hood, Keisha. I don't care if it's Tanya in corporate America or Keisha in the hood. And when we talk about this, I'm considered I don't have no game or I'm lame. But this is an actual problem with Black women that's causing Black men to not want to invest his male labor, his sperm. And without his sperm, his labor, there is no village, as I told y'all earlier. He's the village. He's the beginning of the village. He's the center of the village. Without him, there's no village. There's no group. Because when the woman gets pregnant, and where she's going to get her protection from, right? And right now, women, especially in Black culture or Caribbean Black culture, they get their protection from white daddy. And white daddy's not going to treat Black women how he treats his white woman. Understand? He'll tell Black women to be disrespectful to her children, hate the Black man. And when you do these things, we'll give you this. So this is why Black women, like, you're not getting the guy that you want. Or you're not getting the guy to marry you. But then we blame Black men as if it's our fault. Like, it's our fault if we don't pick you because you don't qualify. You understand? Which is something I don't understand about Black culture. Black culture would tell Black men, you're not marrying Black woman. But then when we describe the Black woman that we want to marry, we're either weak in our masculinity, or when that Black woman appears, she's a pick-misha. But then when we pick the type of woman that Black culture tells us to pick, the Keisha, the bad women, the rebellious type of Black woman, that is, you picked the wrong one, but you told us to pick the wrong one. And when we tried to pick the right one, you shamed us out of picking the right one. Anyway, So, you know, hunt effectively, defend against predators and rival males, navigate territory, lead or contribute meaningfully to the group, maintain physical and mental competence. If a man failed at these, he lost sexual access, he lost status, he risked exclusion or replacement. Men were selected after performance, not before, right? So the whole thing about men are not what you do, you're what you are. Even from the hunter gatherer stage, what you do mattered more than who you were as a man. Because if you couldn't do or perform, you had no group, and you were not going to get selected as the best type of man, right? And like I said, the boomer generation broke that. The boomer generation of men taught women not to respect what a man brought or what he did. And then the feminist manipulation, which is true on the surface level, right? As a man, you're more than what you do. As a man, you're more valuable than what you do as who you are. That is true, right? And I say what you do enhance what you do is a reflection of who you are, and who you are enhances what you do. That's what I say, right? Now, I have to be truthful. What we do as men on the earth is more valuable than who we are. I honestly got to say that. Society values a man's performance more than who he is. Because if we don't perform, there is no village, there is no structure, there is no society, right? So, and I'm saying all of this because women, this is what you got to value about your black men. This is what you got to understand about what your black man is. For other groups of women who's watching this is what y'all got to understand about your men, right? And you have to you have to be complimentary or contribute to men who fit this type, who are willing to do this, who fit this type of archetype, if that's what you want. Because if you give them, whether you give them sex on the first date or wait 90 days, if most men are like me, which a lot of men are growing up that you see being forged now, by the time they're 30 years old and 40 years old, they're going to be like me or better than me. Understand? See, when I'm coming up, I got my game, or what was taught to me was from the boomer generation and maybe the Gen X, and maybe Gen X, right? And when I say maybe Gen X, is what I got from Gen X was playing pimp and macking. What I got for boomer was simping. And I had to navigate all of that and then trial and error and figure it out and then come up with something of my own. Like a lot of the stuff that I preach and teach here, I'm preaching and teaching to myself as well as I'm to y'all, and I'm also a student, but I had to learn these things on my own. I had to take what was there and have the wisdom and intelligent enough to say, I don't like this from the boomers, I don't like this from the Gen X. But here's some things I do like for both of them and mold it together. You understand? So the guys who are under me, who are in their 20s and they're coming up, pause, they're going to be a lot better than me. They're going to be a lot more efficient at noticing and picking up the bad women or women that's not qualified for them. This is why a lot of women this is why a lot of dating coaches and a lot of women keep telling or calling black men bad bitches or sassy, which the definition of sassy is actually gender neutral. It actually means to be bold and assertive, because black men, you were more passive. And now you're kicking back and you're arguing back with the women and you're standing on your stance, they're calling you sassy. Which nothing wrong with arguing with women. That's a lie that they told. That's a lie that's being told to men to make you passive. Right? But for the women now, right? You have to understand that the men that are coming up today and they're going to be in their 30s or who are in their 30s now, I'm in my 30s now, they're not the boomer generation. And they're not Gen X. You understand? So you got to step up your game and you got to put something forward outside of sex. Because look at Instagram, look at Twitter, look at TikTok, look at all these places. Ass and booty, tits, thighs, all over the place. So now it's in your face now. So now men are desensitized to it. So now men are not going to be impressed by that. They're going to say, what else? Right? Female role, what she had to do Once a competent man was identified, women competed to retain him. They did this by sexual exclusivity, cooperation and loyalty, emotional regulation, right? Child rearing competence, support of man's role and mission. A woman who couldn't keep a capable man lost protection and resources, which historically was deadly for her and her children. This is why I said earlier, a nation may not raise no higher than a woman, but a woman doesn't raise no higher than a king's decree. Because without the king's decree or his authority or his structure, you lost. You lost the village. There is no village. There is no nation. Right? Now, truth be told, I do have a non-sexual dating thing. And I did a video, plenty of videos on this. I already released this out there. Right? So let me put what a woman can do. A woman's submission without sex. A young woman, what young women lack and why sex hurts them. Clear discernment of men, emotional self-control with intimacy, ability to follow without trying to control, respect for masculine identity differences. Sex too early teaches women to try to change men instead of choosing correctly, to stay where they don't belong, to disrupt leadership they don't respect, to confuse attention with alignment. Now, what I mean by respect for masculine identity differences, right? You have different types of sovereign individuals, right? Which I call sovereign masculinity or sovereign identity, right? Because how I describe it is you're a sovereign individual as a man, right? So you might have a sovereign guy who his identity may be a traditional guy. Then you might have another sovereign guy who's a player. Then you might have a sovereign guy that's a 50-50 guy. Then you have a sovereign guy that may be a lawyer, doctor. So you have different sovereign identities of masculine men. So what women tend to do is that they'll tend, instead of trying to learn about this guy, the traditional guy, or the 50-50 guy, she'll bring what she heard or learned from the traditional guy and how he operates and tell the 50-50 guy he's insecure for not operating like the traditional guy. Or she'll tell the traditional guy he's insecure because he won't accept a 304, a wife of a 304, like the guy who's into open relationships or the guy who's into non-monogamy, right? So instead of she just being humble and saying, shit, this guy, he's into something, or he's operating in a lifestyle that I don't qualify for. Let me respect him, not shame him, and leave him alone. Right? Or if it's a chick that does like this type of guy, what she does, because she lacks the traditional training or the traditional way of earning a traditional guy, because the culture tells her to do otherwise, she doesn't know how to earn him. She uses like shit like 304 logic or 304 dating tactics to get this guy, the more traditional guy. So that's what I mean by respecting for different sovereign identities or sovereign masculine energies, right? To stay where they don't belong. So you try to stay where you don't belong. You know you don't belong with a player. You know you don't belong, or you know you don't belong with a traditional guy. You might belong with a player. And because you don't have the qualities to qualify for the traditional guy that you want, and you won't do the things to step up your game to get to the traditional guy, right? You know what I'm saying? You try to stay with this dude. Or the same thing with a player. You might qualify for a player, be with the player, be with the non-monogamous dude, be with the open relationship type of guy. But you won't be with those. You try to get the traditional guy to be open relationship guy. You understand? And this is when you're disrupting leadership you don't respect. And the reason why women do this is because they have nothing else to compete with, or they're trying to run a game on you. They're trying to use you for something. So, you know, the key formula. How to discern men, right? So what young women should learn. So I'm really directing this to college age women, right? And college age men. This is what this dating manual was for, right? Because I see a lot of college age men, you know, you don't know how to lead, you don't know how to pick the right type of woman when you're supposed to be in college and you're supposed to be learning and upgrading yourself. And there's a lot of sex culture going on in college too. And you're coming up, making terrible mistakes with your lives. So, this is for me. This is me pushing to the college kids, how to do something, outside of sex, and how to actually find the right people and separate yourself from what everybody else is doing. Right. So for the young women, how to discern men, who she likes, who she doesn't like, who she can follow, who she cannot respect, how to follow, not control. Submission to alignment, not manipulation. Respect means accepting who a man is, not reshaping him into what she wants. If she likes his tone, his personality, his beliefs, his lifestyle, she should leave, not try to fix him. Because women, once you subscribe to a guy, you're submitting to his tone, his personality, his belief system, his lifestyle. And, the way how a lot of these younger men, including myself, are being raised up to or training ourselves or raising up to, because of the, listening to guys like the Angry Man or different dark people in the manosphere space. Although I think Angry Man is not manosphere, even though he coined it. We are recognizing when you don't respect us. And when you don't respect us, we're going to dismiss you. But it's not being in a relationship with you. So this is why y'all having so much difficulty getting a guy with sex or without sex, because of what the boomer generation taught you. See, both the boomer generation of women are at fault and the boomer generation of men are at fault. Hold on, let me wipe one off. Sorry. Both the boomer generation of women are at fault and boomer generation of men are at fault, because they taught women that, even though you don't respect his lifestyle, his belief, or his personality, or his tone, to try to change him, or, just give him sex, or, be disrespectful. Because a lot of men that the boomer generation of men raised up and taught were taught to tolerate black women's BS, or women in general's BS, right? And a lot of black men broke that spell because of guys like Angry Man and guys like Tommy Sotomayor, or guys in these spaces. Shout out to Mr. Fantastic. Shout out to Philosophical. Shout out to Anton Daniel. Shout out to those guys. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams, right? And I've had a lot of Jamaican elders, or in my lifetime, right? Not boomer generation per se, mainly Gen X, Jamaican cats, like my older brother, because he's in his 50s now. My cousins, and I had to take what they learned from the street knowledge, and I had to use it and apply it to myself and modify it for me. Understand? So thanks to those male influences, right? But a lot of these young men raising up with positive male influences, they're not like what the boomer generation raised. Understand? And the boomer generation of men put a spell on Gen X men, and Gen X men kind of broke it. Like, if you listen to how Gen X men talk versus how boomer generation talk, and then us millennials, we have to look at both of them and be like, damn, what do we really do? Right? So this is what the issue, why a lot of women, you are not able to keep a guy, whether you have sex with him on the first day or you don't have sex with him on the first day. Because of what the boomer generation taught the young men to tolerate your bullshit. And now that the men have broken that spell, it's way more difficult for you to do. Right? And they didn't teach women, especially in black culture, how to reciprocate the energy that man was given, or how to respect the guy that was providing for you. They just taught women that, yo, you're entitled to this guy. And they taught the men, yo, you're supposed to give this woman everything, all of your masculine energy without her doing something. You're supposed to give her unconditional masculine energy. So, that's what y'all running into. Do not follow what you do not like, because women naturally attempt to modify, correct, civilize, reshape. This creates resentment, not harmony. Right? So, this is for the women who don't want to have sex, right? I'm not telling you have to have sex. I'm not telling you you do have to have sex, or you don't have to have sex, or you shouldn't have sex. You know, these are just some options to give you. And I've dated women, and I have dating. I even say people shouldn't be having sex until they're 25 to 28, and you fully grasp the idea of dating and mating, like, right? College dating, age dating framework, 18 to 24. And this can apply to any dating arena. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be college. Learn to approach women confidently, date multiple women to understand preference, learn leadership without sex, guiding interaction. Respectfully, develop self-respect, boundaries, and the ability to correct disrespect. Understand yourself as a microcosm of a company. Who contributes positively? Who disrupts? How to enforce standards? Continuous improvement, be who you are now, but walk toward becoming a better man tomorrow, right? For women, learn to discern men without sexual influence, understand who she likes and who she can generally follow, practice submission and respect toward a man who she aligns with, avoid trying to control, change, or reshape men, leave men she does not respect instead of, oh, so let me read this properly. Leave men she does not respect instead of staying and disrupting, right? And then, this is the things y'all should do before 24. By 25, individuals should fully understand themselves and their boundaries, have experience with multiple dating dynamics, know what they like and don't like in a partner, have mastered leadership men or fellowship for women in dating. Sex now becomes optional, not necessary for validation. Sexual relationships occur after identity standards and leadership fellowship skills are solid, right? So let me read this properly. Sexual relationships occur after identity standards and leadership/fellowship skills are solid, right? So for women, your fellowship skills got to be solid, and for men, your leadership skills got to be solid. College dating is I want to say dating. Yeah, college age dating is a development phase. Delaying sex until mid to late 20s allows men and women to cultivate identity, leadership/fellowship, self-respect, and relational discernment. Premature sexual bonding disrupts learning, whereas dysfunction and interferes with long-term relational stability, right? Um, because the hookup culture you're on, there's a lot of chaos in it. And it's more geared towards open relationship and non-monogamy. This one, if you pay attention, is more geared towards monogamous stuff, right? Which I don't understand why people have an issue with monogamy when it's the foundation of Western culture in America, and two, it's what stabilizes the society, right? And I think that's what the issue is. I think more monogamous relationship, and when you teach women to be geared more towards monogamy, right, and you teach men to be more geared towards monogamy, it pulls the society back together. As opposed to when it's more open relationship and more chaotic, the society destroys itself. You can't show me any historical reference where when the society was first monogamous and then when it became open, it lasted. Every society, when it was monogamous, it grew. As soon as it became non-monogamous or open sex, it got destroyed. You can't show me anything different. Now, once you start having sex, if you decide to have sex, pre-sex responsibility for men. Have a structure and a plan, decide to approach, protection, testing boundaries. I already did this, right? So this is when you decide to have sex, right? Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the video. Protection and testing. So this is what the men have to do. Protecting and testing. Protection and testing. Discuss and agree on protection, condoms, birth control, etc. Both get tested at the same quality clinic or testing site. There was willingness to comply as a vetting mechanism for accountability. So, in other words, if you say, let's go to this clinic at this time, and she's late, she doesn't show up, she's arguing or combative with you, that she's not the right woman to have sex with. Leadership and sexual conduct. Only have sex with women who respect you, follow instructions, and align with your standards. Ensure sexual activity is not casual or promiscuous. Maintain your boundaries and walk away if your standards are violated, right? Pre-sex responsibilities for women. Accountability. Follow his instructions regarding protection, testing, and safety. So, women, if he's not giving you a protocol on protection, testing, and safety, he's not the guy you should give access to your box, right? Respect boundaries and rules and he sets regarding sexual engagement. If he has no boundaries for himself, he has no rules planned or set regarding how the sex is going to go, don't follow him, right? Because you got to subscribe. Remember, I said you got to subscribe to his lifestyle, to his way, like how he likes. So if he likes rough sex, that's what you subscribe to. If you don't like rough sex, don't subscribe to him, right? If he's a guy that's like into safe sex, protection, all the other stuff, like I am, subscribe to that. If he's not into that, but that's what you need from your man, don't subscribe to him, right? Selective submission. Only engage sexually with men who she generally likes and can respect. Align with men whose leadership and identity she can follow. Avoid sexual activity with multiple men after committing, right? I know a lot of you hookup culture people are going to be pissed off with me about this video. Right? Dating first, minimum 6 months of dating before sex, ensure emotional and relational alignment. Exclusivity post-sex. Sex should be limited to the committed relationship. Avoid casual promiscuous sexual activity, right? Long term. Date for at least 1 year before considering sexual activity with others. Post-year review. Decide if the relationship continues or sexual exclusivity changes. So after the first year, you should do evaluation with each other. Yeah, should we continue doing this? Should we become girlfriend and boyfriend? Should we make this something? You know what I'm saying? Sex is earned, not casual. It should occur within a framework of respect, accountability, and alignment. Both parties should demonstrate discipline, responsibility, and adherence to agreed standards. So, women, I'm giving you a game, bro. Right. Now, the other issue, and I'm probably going to do a part 2 to this video, so I'm going to end it here because there's a lot of game I want to give regarding this topic. So, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the video, and watch the entire video. All right. Anyway, this is Kish, your audio views and vlogs. I'm out.